It's one of the most exciting times in a young athlete's career, the moment they commit to playing college sports. Mountain West football teams have been hard at work, and they now have been rewarded by signing some of the top high school players in the country. Hi everybody, I'm Jesse Kurtz here in the Mountain West Network studio, where it's always fun to get an introduction to the stars of tomorrow in the Mountain West, and there is nobody better in the business than our national recruiting expert, Alan Trieu of 24/7 Sports, who has now joined us in 10 straight years each and every February. Alan, I appreciate your time and your insight once again.
Yeah, happy to keep coming on.
Well, there is nobody better in the business, and over the last decade, Alan has correctly identified many of the best and brightest who would then step foot on Mountain West campuses, who then went on to become impact players for great programs. He's done his homework once again here in 2025 and is ready to count down this year's top 5 signees in the Mountain West, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. All right, let's start with number 5. UNLV is riding a ton of momentum these days. Back-to-back Mountain West championship game appearances, 20 wins over the last 2 seasons, and a new high-profile head coach in Dan Mullen, who may have just secured a guy to be the cornerstone of his offense for years to come.
Yes, Coach Mullen is an offensive guy, and I think this player has a chance to be that cornerstone piece. That's running back Cameron Williams. He's one of the highest recruits the Rebels have ever signed. And when you look at his offer list, they beat Michigan's on there, Houston, Memphis, Texas Tech, a lot of schools that know how to play some offense there. Over 6,000 yards and 63 touchdowns in his career. 2,000 of those coming as a senior. Runs with great acceleration and balance. Has some subtle wiggle to him, but then once he gets going north and south, he's gone. 5'10", 190 pounds. Maybe not the biggest guy, but compact. And I think, like you said, he's going to be a guy who can log heavy carries. I know they're going to want to run the football, and this is the guy they can feed the ball to.
Yeah, UNLV is doing a really good job of getting into homes that perhaps in the past they were not able to get into. This guy is the 9th overall running back prospect in the state of Texas. Rushed for over 6,200 yards and had 63 touchdowns at Jefferson High School. And anytime you have an offer from the University of Michigan, you're doing something right. Moving on to number 4, Colorado State has a great tradition of having great linebackers who have gone on to win Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year honors, including Shaq Barrett and Rick Kroll. Perhaps your number 4 signee in the Mountain West will be the next to follow in their elite footsteps.
Yeah, they went all the way down to Texas and picked up Cannon Valenzuela, who we love at 24/7 Sports. The way that offenses are playing now, you have to have linebackers who are athletic, multiple, and can stay on the field. And this guy checks every single one of those boxes. He's a 4-sport athlete. Has played basketball, runs track, outstanding baseball player, also has great offensive production. I mean, in his career, 4,000 receiving yards. So he's going to bring some of those ball skills and athleticism to the defensive side of the ball. He'll certainly hit you as well, had over 100 tackles. So he's big at 6'3". He's physical, but that offensive background and that multi-sport background tells you you can drop him into coverage, you can put him over a tight end. There's almost nothing this guy can't do on the field. We think a lot of schools miss the boat on him, and it's to the Rams' benefit.
Yeah, Alan, rarely we hear about 3-sport athletes anymore, much less a 4-sport athlete, but that's exactly what Valenzuela was at Jacksboro High School, and on the football field, he caught 22 touchdown passes as a wide receiver his senior year. Back in December, Matt Ants became the 23rd head coach in the history of Fresno State football. There's no question that he learned very quickly how much the Red Wave loves when a local star commits for the hometown Bulldogs. And I think they're going to love the guy that you have ranked number 3 for 2025.
Yeah, Harold Duvall, who we have listed as an athlete, but he's going to be a wide receiver. And we know there's a great history at Fresno State of throwing the football. I think he's going to be the next great pass catcher at the school. And again, we talk about multi-sport athleticism. This is a guy who runs 10.8 in the 100-meter dash. You see that with his long speed and ability after the catch, but also he can go up and win some 50-50 balls. He's not a 6'4", 6'5" guy, 6'1", but he plays bigger than that. So no amount of traffic bothers him. He can do some things after the catch. He was a good win at offers from schools like Arizona, Colorado State, and Washington, and chose the Bulldogs just before his senior year. I think he's got enough to him that he might be able to see the field early in his career.
Yeah, perhaps the highest ranked recruit at Fresno State since Jalen Cropper back in 2019, who you introduced us to him on this very segment 6 years ago. When Duvall's a guy that got 48 passes for 908 yards at Clovis East during his senior season. Sean Lewis has secured his second recruiting class at San Diego State. He values speed at all positions, especially on offense, where he loves to run that up-tempo style of offense that he calls Aztec fast. Your number 2 signee will fit right in with that philosophy on the Mesa.
Yeah, Kamana Tifaga is a guy who I think really can play either side of the ball. I think he can be a safety at the next level, but has great wide receiver production as well. So they're going to be able to kind of figure out where he fits best. Played in a really, really good league against great high school competition and was productive against that. Has had a ton of success against strong competition. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we love the high school production and we love multi-sport guys. So he's a track guy. He also played volleyball, which is a little bit of an interesting sport, but certainly takes a lot of athleticism and explosion to play that sport. So you love guys that are productive on both sides of the ball. You love guys who have played more than one sport. They identified him early, offered him last spring, and were able to get him in the class. He's a 4-star and one of the higher rated signees that they've had come into the program recently.
The skills that he developed on the volleyball court, no question, will translate onto the football field. That power, that speed, and Tufaga displayed that for the Lancers of Lucerna High School, where he helped them win back-to-back league titles during his high school days. Finally, drum roll please, on to number 1, and it's no surprise that the top recruit in the Mountain West is going to the top team in the league. Talking about Boise State, fresh off the run to the college football playoff quarterfinals, and the Broncos under Spencer Danielson are reloading once again. And a few years ago, they pulled the kid out of the Dallas area who went on to be the Heisman runner-up. Of course, that being Ashton Genty, and your top signee for 2025 is from a similar area. He's from McKinney, Texas, and is headed to the Treasure Valley to be a Bronco.
Yeah, they've done a good job of recruiting down there, and it's hard to go into Texas. So many schools recruit that state and win recruiting battles, but they did it here, and I think they really found a gem in Jabri Bickman. You know, we list him as an athlete, has played wide receiver, two-way guy, probably a defensive back, though, at the next level, and I think he's really got all the tools to be a great one. 6'3", very long, another guy who's run track. There's some serious speed coming into the conference. This guy runs 10.89 in the 100 at 6'3". He's a long jumper. He's a triple jumper. So much potential there. Already a great player, but I think there's still so much meat left on the bone. He's got great upside, great athleticism. I think he's going to be a real asset, probably as a safety, because he can cover so much ground. That wide receiver background gives him those ball skills. Just a great all-around athlete, and the next great Bronco from Lone Star State.
The speed and athleticism that Bickham displayed at McKinney High School was elite, as you mentioned, sub-11 in the 100 meters. He also leaped 20 feet 9 inches in the long jump. He will be an asset for Spencer Danielson on the football field at Boise State. So here it is, the list for 2025, 3 from Texas, 2 from California, both recruiting hotbeds in college football. At number 5, Cameron Williams, running back out of Jefferson, Texas, headed to UNLV. At number 4, Cannon Valenzuela, linebacker from Jacksboro, Texas, headed to Colorado State. At number 3, Harold Duvall, out of Clovis, California, staying home to play for the Bulldogs. At number 2, Kaimana Tufaga from Southern California, also staying home. He's headed to San Diego State to play for the Aztecs. And at number 1, Jabri Bickham, out of McKinney, Texas, headed to the 2-time defending Mountain West champs of Boise State. Alan, as always, appreciate your time, appreciate your insights, and I guess now it's time to enjoy some well-deserved R&R.
Just a little bit before we start looking at juniors and getting ready for next year. But this was a historic class, 4 4-stars on that list, and happy to break it down with you.
Well, we appreciate that. Enjoy your time off as you look forward to the next football recruiting season. That's Alan Trieu, recruiting expert for 24/7 Sports. If you'd like to follow Alan's tremendous coverage within the realm of college athletics and the recruiting, you can do so by following him on X. His handle is @AlanTrieu. In the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.